call the meeting to order. The first thing we need to do is approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Sean and Curtis. It's been moved and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Schreiber and Curtis. Moved and second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Yeah, I want to take the opportunity to recognize and thank everyone for the greater educational community for, I think we've had just an exceptional school year. Truly, I mean, there's always challenges here and there, but we've really had a really good school year, and that's thanks to everyone who's involved in the schooling process. But of course, particularly want to congratulate the graduating class of 2025, and then also any of the other classes as they move up to the next building. There'd be the second graders going to the third grade, the fifth graders going to the sixth grade, and of course the eighth graders going on to the ninth grade. So this is a quality school year that ended up with culminating in graduation on Saturday. We had a fine event. So that's it, Mr. Jones.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Myers. Let's move to financials and Mike.
Okay, on page 2 of the warrants. The High Plains Co-op, we had state funds coming through us to the High Plains, $95,369. And then down below, KSB, our membership dues, $2,750, and then $10,990.17 that you guys had approved us doing that. And then on page 3, University of Missouri is a software program we use, $14,850. And then above that, Skyward, $21,671.
And for the University of Missouri, that's the NE program. It's the evaluation system that we use, and that's for 3 years. It's a 3-year purchase.
So total warrants for this month, $318,092.61. And then on page 5, our cash balances are where we expect them to be. And then on page 6, our expenditures are also where we expect them to be. And then we have our transfers and the high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
Hey Mike, what is the Thrillshare media subscription on page 1?
That's the, when we post things on like the, you get the messages from Acacia, well, you know that we come from Acacia, but when we broadcast things out, that's how they get sent there. This is a program that we use.
I just haven't seen that one before. So.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $318,092.61.
So moved. Second.
Curtis and Sean. Been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no public patron concerns, so administrative reports, Dr. Myers.
Yeah, it just so happens Kona happens to be here. I didn't ask her to be here, but she's here to help celebrate this. Kona, in her auspices as the K sponsor, wrote for and received a $4,000 grant from Blue Cross Blue Shield with the purpose of converting one of the tennis courts, it's a joint effort with the rec, into a pickleball court. So that's pretty cool, I think. The grant that she received will buy, it's paint and supplies and that kind of thing. And I understand Eric they are dedicated to resurfacing one of the courts and then put up lighting in the whole 9 yards and even a basketball hoop. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I don't know at what point all this will happen. We don't have the check yet. Yeah, but it is a cool opportunity, and pickleball is all the rage, for the last about 8 years or so. So we will be entering the 21st century with pickleball. About a month ago, about 3 weeks ago, the chief of police came and saw me and asked me about the concept of would the board be interested rather, in allowing the local police to issue tickets on our school grounds. I guess we have, the school grounds technically are private property. Didn't know that. I figured it was public property. But in order to allow them to issue tickets, violations for like speeding or reckless driving or whatever, it would take the board's acceptance or creating and passing a policy to allow this to occur. I said, well, I'd throw it by you guys. It's all about safety as far as I'm concerned. He did send me some language, but I didn't want to bring you language to check which way the wheat was waving on this, see if you're interested in it. I personally, I'm in favor of this because it is a safety issue. If the board sees no problems with this, I'll have language for you at the next board meeting.
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, not that we see a lot of things going on, but just in case. So, alrighty, Power School extension, we're in the way of moving away from Power School and going to Skyward. Well, there's this transition period we're going through, and the two programs that we use from Power School is the enrollment process, and then also the student information system, where all the data is stored. This was a Herculean event to get this taken care of, but we finally got a 6-month extension on both the enrollment and on the SIS, if you will, how it's called. So those are in place now, and so we have access to all of both those products through December of 25. So that will allow us to continue with the enrollment process, and if we need to go to grab some data, and or when we do have the migration to Skyward, it's all ready to roll. So take advantage of the opportunity that technology provides us. So that's a good thing. Lastly, we did have our KSE fiscal audit. Our people did a fine job with everything, but we did lose 6.4 FTE. So like Mike and I keep talking about, the last 13, 14 months have just been brutal fiscally for us. So we lost about $59,000 due to the fiscal audit. A lot of that was tied to, I don't remember the actual term, but at risk, which has to do with pre-certification for free and reduced food. So people sign up for what they have, and they thinking they make this amount of money, and then they come along later on, and some people get raises, sometimes and they get reclassified. So anyway, as it started out, we were down 9.6 or something like that, but we reached out, got some things changed around, ended up negative 6.4. So we're adjusting things. So it's $59,000 decrease in the current budget as well. We still are looking at a 6.5% rollout at the end of the school year. So we're still sitting pretty that way. It's just, I'm ready for the cup to be passed on in all our fiscal challenges. Anyway, that's my report, Mr. Jones.
All right, thank you. All right, buildings and grounds. Transportation.
I have nothing further.
Food services.
She's coming up.
I just want to talk about summer food service. Okay, we have summer food starting May 27th. It will run through June 30th. And breakfast will be served at the high school from 7:15 to 10 a.m. And lunch will be served at the Holcomb Elementary School from 11 to 1.
And you'll find this later on the agenda because the board needs to approve this for this to take place. And through the years, they serve a lot of meals.
Yep.
And it's a popular program. So good on Monica and her crew.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, technology, Julie. All right, let's move to the principals, and we're going to start with Dr. Helton. Shaking it up.
Well, first, thank you to Sean and the other business partners in the community who were present for our career fair with our 7th graders last month. That had a lot of fanfare from the kids and the families, and I felt our business partners were happy with it as well, gave us good feedback to continue building that next year, so that was really cool. Miss Leonard, Miss Reynolds have done a great job at that, and we'll keep building that going forward. Couple things just on safety. We wrapped up our final fire drill last week for the year. We do 5 fire drills a year and 3 tornado drills a year. It's more than we're required to do, but I think practice, especially with middle schoolers, is important. We're able, all of our fire drills this year, we were able to evacuate the building and get all kids accounted for in 3.5 minutes or less each time. So I'm very pleased with that. Of course, we always try to get a second better each time, but I was pleased with that. June, I will have summative behavior data for you. I try to give that to you every June before we go. So just want to give you that update.
Tyler, did you get the Chromebook fiasco taken care of?
No. We haven't had any new incidents this week.
He means yes, it's all taken care of.
We're hopeful. I've spoken with Dr. Myers and Julie. I'm hoping, keeping those based at school next year. That has to help. I hope so.
And we need to turn off TikTok in the entire world.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
We'll do that too, please.
Tic-tac.
We'll get with she on that and Xi Jinping on that and get that fixed for you. But we're hopeful that helps. The letters are ready and going to families. There's a bill to pay. Of course, with middle schoolers, how much do they really understand that money, that bill? I tried to explain to actually on Friday. I tried explaining into how many meals at McDonald's that'd be for their parent to have to pay that, and it seemed to at least raise his eyebrow a little bit. They just don't grasp how much they're costing their families with those damages. But continue working on it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Come on up, Amy.
Okay, we finished FastBridge testing a week ago and have some exciting results to share. Our reading, out of our 160 students that we tested, only 39 of them didn't meet benchmark or have typical and aggressive growth. So I thought that was amazing. So that leaves us at 76% with meeting benchmark or having that typical and aggressive growth. Now that does not mean that all of them met benchmark, but if they didn't, they made as much growth as they could possibly grow in a year because they were in that typical and aggressive growth category. You can't ask anything more of students when they're already making typical and aggressive growth. So that was awesome. And within that reading, I'm so proud of our teachers and our students both. I had 2 teachers, they got 100% of their students in their classroom at benchmark for the end of the year testing. So that was awesome. That's the first year since I've been in the seat that's ever happened. So kudos to them. And our math, this was our first year for our new math adoption, which was very, 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 very hard for teachers and students both. I mean, all the way to the end. It was hard. But golly, our data is amazing. We had, out of our 160 students, only 12 students that were tested did not meet benchmark or get growth. So it's working. It's hard, but it's working. So we were at 93% overall with typical and aggressive growth or benchmark. So that is the best data we've ever had in math. And along with that, 4 teachers in math got all of their students 100%. So, I mean, the math curriculum clearly is working. It's hard, and I'm hoping that in a couple years that transitions over to HES and on within the state assessments, because it is fully loaded with problem solving. All of it has to do with word problems and solving those problems using different methods and teaching them all kinds of different ways to solve those problems. And I feel like that's kind of more the route that the state assessments has. So hopefully we start to see that trickle over into that data.
You want to go ahead and do Randy's?
No, I have no idea. I have been gone.
Oh, she didn't, okay.
I don't know. I have like 180 emails to check, so I can't do first. I'm sorry.
Good luck.
All right, well, thank you, Amy. All right, Mr. Johnson.
really have a whole lot to talk about. As a plus one thing, I want to be on record that I had 14 to 15 seniors in my house this morning at 4:30. That was their senior prank, and so it just so happens that one of my sons is a senior, and he let him in. They're supposed to sleep on the lawn, but he felt bad for everybody, and so they slept on my living room floor. So when I walked out this morning at like 6:30, they're all there, which was funny because they're trying to hide, they're trying to act like they're asleep. It's fun that you have a good group of kids that try to have fun, and they act like 6-year-olds again. It's funny whenever they're giggling and shh, they don't know we're sleeping, all that kind of different stuff. That's a combination of just this group. So my first year as principal, they were freshmen. I got to see them all the way go through. Several of us have kids in that class. It's just a really good class. It was good when you're reflecting this year, just on a good year that we had. Their leadership, when you ask them to do some new things like student leadership groups and MTSS and standards-based grading, and they attack it and they just try. They give great effort. And so it's just it was a really special class. And so kind of just want to make that what this is about. And they're going to be missed. And I know all of us are, especially the ones that we have that are leaving, it kind of touches your heart because you're not going to see them again. And not like forever, they're going to come back. But the things you miss is walking down the hallway and telling them, give them a hard time about they're out in the hallways more than what you are, or joking around with them, and you don't get to do that anymore. And so it was kind of empty today without them. So.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, let's move to unfinished business and health insurance.
All righty, we have Brian Hillier, the district insurance broker, is Zooming in or Google Meeting in to walk us through the good news about our health insurance renewal. And so, as I've been telling you guys, we have a 3% increase, but what I asked Brian to do is basically give you some details of the plan itself and maybe walk through just how we've gotten to this spot. So, Brian, it's all yours.
He's muted, isn't he?
1 second, we have a little bit of feedback.
Is he muted?
No, he's not muted.
What's that yellow box?
Do we need a microphone over there?
Can you guys hear me?
There we go. We hear you now, Brian.
Fantastic. Well, I'll go ahead and kick things off on the medical plan. You know, ultimately we had a difficult year last year based off of the claims experience, and it made it very, very challenging. The good news is that this year it's very black and white and a lot easier. Less decisions have to be made from what are we going to do. As they stated, the health insurance plan was a 3% renewal, and I'd be happy to share my screen, but I can give you some high levels, and if you want me to share my screen, I'm happy to give you those numbers. The original renewal actually came in at 7%, and we went back to them just based off of the painful process last year, really encouraged them that we wanted to renew. Being open, we had no other quotes, so it was one of those things that we were going to renew either way. But we did go back to them and just say, hey, we want to renew, we want to make this process easy. What would it take for us to just renew? And at the end of the day, we were able to settle at that plus 3%. Obviously, healthcare costs continue to go up, and so they were just looking for a little bit of a bump. That said, we did go out to the market, and we did get all the different quotes. We went to Blue Cross, United, Cigna, Aetna, Gravy, a couple other quotes, Allstate, Angle, who you're currently with. And I wanted to just share a couple of the numbers. So again, it's going to make the decision very black and white. But Blue Cross did come in at a 44% increase from where you're at today. And United Healthcare came in at a 48% increase. So when we went to negotiate with them and get that 7% down to a 3%, it wasn't because we had competition and we were threatening to leave. At the end of the day, it was, we just were trying to be a good partner. They stepped in last year and helped us in your time of need. We basically indicated that we'd want to renew and just asked if they had any wiggle room to put that forth. And again, that's where they're able to come from that 7% to the 3%. The good news is that there's no plan design changes. So a lot of times we present to school districts or cities, counties, governments, and we present a renewal and we say, well, it's plus 9%, but your out-of-pocket's going up, copay's changing, da-da-da-da-da. The good news is that these are the same plans that you have today. So no change to the deductibles, no change to the out-of-pockets, no change to the office visits, the prescription visits. So exact same program that you have today. And again, the renewal is sitting at the 3%. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to give any other details. But again, the next best quote was Blue Cross at 44. And so it's a pretty black and white decision, pretty easy today. Any questions for me?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So that translates into
Yeah.
about $22 a month pre-tax, so post-tax, $16, $17 out of pocket.
Yeah, the only other thing that I would just add quickly is we did meet as the insurance committee that reviewed all the different options. A couple of them did mention that at the beginning of the meeting, they said, hey, we'd love to go back to Blue Cross. It was really great when we were with Blue Cross. Then after seeing the numbers, it was a unanimous vote from the insurance committee to move forward with the renewal, and that's ultimately what we presented today. So just wanted to know that we did follow the proper steps. It wasn't just us telling Angle Cigna that we wanted to renew. We went through the proper channels, and ultimately that's why it's showing up on your agenda tonight.
So are there any questions? So with that, and going with the recommendation from the insurance committee, and my recommendation to the board is that we approve the health insurance plan as presented, the Angle Cigna option.
So moved.
Second.
Sean and Ryan. It's been moved and seconded to approve the health insurance plan for next year as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that was easy.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Young man, appreciate you.
We'll get to work on open enrollment, so we'll hit the ground running. I believe open enrollment will be starting here shortly, and we'll get this out to the employees. So thank you, everybody.
I'm
Thank you.
sure Mike and you will be in contact, close contact.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's move to Julie and technology purchases.
All righty, it's standard operating procedure, you guys are well aware. We do rotations of things. This particular year, it's time to buy laptops for the teachers. So Julie's been working this for a while. We will ultimately do laptops and Chromebooks, but this month we've got the bid information for you for laptops. She's brought forth for you. You need 110 laptops, Dell Pro 16 Plus laptops. They're 16-inch non-touch screens. Using the purchasing co-op, so we don't have to worry about the bid process. It basically comes in at $220. Well, basically it is. It comes in at $225,888.30. And by making the purchase now, they'll come in. We'll get them all processed, ready to roll, and be handed out to the teachers for the beginning of the school year. The old computers that were being rolled out, we wipe them clean. They're given to other staff members. They're used as loaners, within the district. Cannibalize them for parts, and ultimately are just discarded down the road. So there's a plan for them ultimately. So, but as far as tonight goes, I just recommend the board approve of the purchase of the teacher laptops as presented. But Julia can answer questions for you if you have any.
Can we survive without a touchscreen?
Hard to believe.
Well, for LA, you would have paid another $11,500.
No. I just was wondering if everything's touch anymore, so.
No, they do
No.
have a Chromebook that's touch.
So with technology getting better, do you think there's an opportunity in the future to extend it to 5 years? 6 years?
Possibly. Just depends on the particular machines. These all will be
I will make the motion to approve the laptop for $225,000 and change.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of teacher laptops as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, district strategic plan.
Alrighty, as you're aware, throughout the year, we've been working on the district strategic plan. We put out, I mean, this has been a year-long process, put out a survey to the community, ended up with 242 responses, really good response, as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Carlin from KASB, former student from Garden City, facilitated this work for us, ran the 2 different community focus groups meetings that we had. Really well done. It was a good process, good substantive conversations that took place, where they took the survey results and, you know, just really got into the information and had a process by which they honed in on it and said, well, what are the themes that are emerging? Then ultimately, if you guys recall, you came back together and worked with the admin team for like 2 or 3 hours on a given night. And that ultimately led to, and you had on your spot, a draft has been developed of the district strategic plan. And the 4 areas that came to light from all this work are student success, exceptional staff, communication, culture and community, facilities and grounds. And so there's no action on this tonight whatsoever. This is just an opportunity for you to see the information again and just look at it. You know, if something pops to you, you say, well, what about this as well? Or have you thought about these ideas? Just opportunity for feedback and or thoughts. Next month, we would be coming back and try to for an action item and get it all prettified for you to take a look at it. The ultimate goal is looking at all these items. It's impossible to eat an elephant in one big bite. So that's a setting us up for failure. So what needs to occur is the board would look to prioritize 1 or 2 of the strategies per area. And so the admin would want to be giving you input on this. So that doesn't have to happen next month either. Next month would be, that's our strategic plan, let's go. And then probably July and August, by that time the admin team would come back and say, well, of these areas, we think the most important areas within this would be this. Then of course the board say, well, okay, but we're the ones who get to set the priorities. So here's your recommendations, here's what we think. And that would be our marching orders. That's where we'd go. So prior to this meeting, I just went ahead and bulleted a few of these things, just for instances. So under student success, if I were making choices today, if I were making recommendations today, I'd say A and B would be the areas of focus that we need to address first. All these things would be addressed ultimately. Under exceptional staff, A and C is where I would want to spend our time and effort. Under communication, A would be the area where I'd want to spend the time. And under facilities and grounds, A. That's the area where I would want to go. Now, within this as well, the board can say, you know what, this is fine, we have all this wonderful stuff, but we really think you need to focus on 4 facilities and grounds. That's where you need to spend the time and effort. That's what we need to do. Because as a board, you have the right, you have the privilege, it's your duty to set the priorities, set the policy, set the marching orders, and it's my job to put them into play. So that's what I'd really like you to do, is take a look at this again. You've seen this before, you helped build it. And so when we come back together next month, you say, yeah, this is what we did. And so looking for approval, and then ultimately the next step would be coming along, like I said, with here's the admin recommendation, but board, what do you think? Because you get to set the priorities. So, questions, comments, concerns? You were a part of all this, so you just have to harken back a couple months ago.
We need to add something about wearing masks.
The Schreibvogel proviso?
I think it looks good.
I think a lot of good, hard, substantive work went into this. This was not like just picking berries. And I do believe it helps move the district down the road. And like I said, a lot of these ideas have been out there, they've just never been on a piece of paper. And it needs to survive the current leadership and the current board. And that's what this ultimately will do.
All right. Okay, we will now move to PISA Action Plan.
All righty, this is another piece of work that's been ongoing. The DLT, the district leadership team, has been, heading up the accreditation work for multiple years as the system has changed. Involving, of course, through the BLT building leadership teams, and the different grade levels, the teachers and the other people who work within the buildings, and ultimately the people outside of the building, the greater education community, on our accreditation efforts. Well, this year, the assignment from the KSDE was to develop an action plan and get it submitted, which has been done. It's been submitted. We have to tweak something. No big deal. We'll get that done next week. But what you have also at your place is the actual information that got submitted. All right. So the area that was chosen for us to focus is quality instruction. The ultimate goal, of course, is to improve all student achievement, academic and social emotional. And so the belief system, by looking at our data, is by focusing on quality instruction, that will do it. That will raise the tide, so all the ships will go up with the rising tide. So our approach will be the creation of the USD 363 instructional playbook and professional learning calendar. So what we've created is this action plan in focusing in on explicit instruction, teacher clarity, and student engagement. Okay, so what was at your place at the table is what got submitted into the KSDE KISA spot, if you will. And so then next year, we will be creating the actual playbook, which would then be implemented in 26, 27. Now, next year is not just about creating it, we'll also be, doing stuff as well, trying out the different, because these are the areas of work. And this is where accreditation will reside as we move forward. In 2 years, it's one thing if we build a plan and then we implement the plan. This time next year, they'll say, okay, have you implemented your plan? We'll say, yeah, we're doing it. It's 2 years from now, they'll say, all right, what impact is it having? Then they'll start looking at the outcomes. Well, and like Amy was talking about, we're getting good results. The stuff we're doing is working. But the whole ballgame now is all about the state assessments. And Amy even mentioned it. So the theory of action here is, if we do well on all this stuff and we're getting good results on our FastBridge and our different screeners and whatnot, in theory, it's all calibrated to the state assessments. And so then if we're getting good results there, we're going to get good results here. And so then that will lead toward better results on the state assessments. So there's method to the madness here. We just have to let it work, play through. So we're right where we need to be at this juncture. End of year one, action plan has been created. Like I said, we need to tweak it just a little bit to make the years match up a little bit better. But we're fully ready next year to start meeting the 6 month and 1 year, what do they call them? Targets. 6 month target and 1 year target. So, any questions on that one?
This is kind of off subject, but how often do they upgrade those state assessments?
Oh, that happens often. You'd hope that there's two things that occur. They reset the standards and then they reset the cut scores. And so it's kind of like this. And so the standard should be like on a 5 to 7 year cycle. But then in between that, then they say, all right, a 13 used to be good enough, now it's a 12, or now it's a 20. Tied to psychometrics. And it's not me. So there's two things that occur.
Okay.
Now you're learning about new stuff, and also, by the way, the goal's different. Yeah, it's not static at all. It's not static at all. It's a dynamic setup. And then the question I thought you were going to ask is, how often does accreditation get adjusted? Seemingly all the time.
So we could have a different goalpost next year. Or
They say no. They say no. Not this time, but we'll see. I know we got involved in the pilot 3 years ago, and by the end of the end of the year, the first year of the pilot, they said, all right, it's changing. And the entire thing they talked about that entire year was fidelity to the process. And the last meeting we attended was, all right, never mind. The process is out the window. So,
encouraging.
yeah, you can't make this up. You really can't. So. But as far as where it is now, we're in a good spot. And you know what? We have our head on a swivel. We've got an excellent team, truly. I'm not just saying it because a couple of them are sitting here. And we have buy-in. So.
All right. Well, let's move to another favorite topic, track.
All righty. The track. As we continue to work options, and I'm not asking for action tonight. Do not need an action tonight. If we have an action, I need it next month. Okay. The concrete underneath the current track is crumbling. We just don't know to what extent. We're doing a geo test with Terracon. It's supposed to come out on the 23rd of May. We're trying to get them out sooner because that'll tell us the extent of it. We learned that the curb is a part of the original pour, and so the latest thinking is if there's interest in redoing the track, it makes sense to take out all of the curb, all of the concrete, not just underneath the track itself, but the curb as well. Okay, which then that just makes the entire thing just a little bit more investment, a little bit greater. That's all. So there's 3 options with this: replace the track with the curbing, and the current bid I have on that right now is a range of $1,069,000. Replace the track with no curbing, which comes in the range of $999,000. The challenge with that is, in order to do that, we'd have to surgically remove the curbing. I mean, all the concrete underneath the track itself, without messing with the curbing, and that would be. Be very difficult. Yeah, it'd be very difficult. The third option is continue to patch and repair the track for another year. Just continue down that path. The reason I didn't even type that up, I added it as I was prepping for tonight's meeting, was we did not anticipate the impact of this last winter. And we did not have a harsh winter. It was not a harsh winter in the way of winters, how they go. When we came back, coming out of winter, the track had not fared well. It just had not. So that's what brought this back to the table as far as the concept of, do we do this now or not? So there's 3 options here, or two major options. Redo the track or don't. And if the answer is don't, then we continue to patch. Continue to patch, continue to patch. If that is the choice ultimately, next winter will bring more issues and the prices will not go down over time. It's just not gonna happen. Fiscally, Mike and I, we've got it figured out. It's not a minor investment, it's a major investment. But we're sitting to the spot where this can be taken care of. We can have it. This is just the track itself. This is not the jumping areas or any of that. We would do some things to make it all match, but that's not what this quote would be all about. Now, there's one other thing that I know I've written to you about, but you need to know about it again. If the results come back from Terracon that we need to shore up the stabilize underneath the track itself, put a harder stabilizer, that's another $94,000 is what that would run. We won't know until we know. So when we get the preliminary reports back in May 23rd, I'll know whether the price of poker has gone up again. Go ahead.
How old is that track, Terry? 2000. I think they went all the way back down to 2008 is when was the last time they redid the asphalt on top of it, and then like 2012 we did an
I thought we did an overspray one time.
Yeah, we did an overspray.
But never addressed the concrete.
Concrete hasn't been touched since it's been put down in
84.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that seemingly is what the issue is at this point.
Had a good life.
As far as, you know, the money is the money. We're gonna have a 6.5% rollout. Let's say we throw $500,000 into capital outlay. We'll generate another 800,000 next year. That's new money. So we'll put 1.3 to 1.4 back into that fund. But of course, there's other areas we need to spend money on in capital outlay. You know, I've got 2 different quotes sitting on my desk for Wiley Elementary's roof at 1.8 million and Holcomb Elementary's roof at 1.8 million. I'm not super duper smart with math, but that's more than the amount of money we've got sitting in the accounts at this point. Particularly when
Mike.
yeah, I don't know what Mike's been doing with all this money.
Can't you print some?
I got a couple questions, so.
Lay on,
Do we
please.
have any bids from anybody besides Mammoth on the track?
We had preliminary information from National, but then they've kind of gone away. And, you know, as we continue to work with these companies, and I can't really speak to it, Curtis, I don't know why. They either want to play ball or they don't want to play ball. We can dust that off and try again.
I'm just curious, if that's the only people we're talking to, or
It's
that's
not the only-
people interested in bidding on it, or what?
Call some of them Texas schools, see who their contractors are.
Money's not an issue down there.
Yeah. I think they're the most hungry. I think they're
What kind of testing is Terracon doing? Are they like drilling core samples?
core samples. They're gonna do.
Throughout the track, or what?
Yeah. How many?
We're gonna have 8 core samples, in the middle of the fairways and at the middle of the curves, and then kind of catty corner on each curve at the start of the curve on one side. and the back.
So, I mean, and it's what we need to get the information. I realize it's like
Are they gonna
a
sample what's underneath too when they drill those cores?
Yeah, they're going all the way down.
because that's what's gonna tell us whether we need a stabilizer or not.
Is Terracon a subsidiary of Man?
They're dirt people.
Good question.
Oh, yes, you do need to take the concrete out.
You take him a bucket full of dirt, they will tell you that it's not dirt, it's like this many percent loam, and this much percent sand, this got this compaction.
It's gonna be a compaction, yeah.
I just wanted to get this out there in public so everybody listening or cares to know about this. This is not, once again, I used this earlier, metaphor earlier. It's not like picking grapes. This is
What's the capital outlay balance right now?
2.1. And so, I mean, that's by the end of the fiscal year, it'll be 2.1. No, we just spent whatever we just spent for computers, and we've got 190 going out the door for the playground over here. So I mean, you just kind of keep doing the math on it, but there's no other major expenditures. The Chromebooks, when those come forward, be another 200 for that.
And then, you know, we still got
How many
HVAC.
Happy Meals is that?
I mean, Happy Meals.
Yeah. A lifetime supply of Happy Meals. All right, any more questions? Then let's.
As I get more clarity on this stuff, I'll continue to feed it to you. But
I kinda have a hard time believing that they didn't pour the curbing separate from the, especially back in 1980, or whenever it was done.
yeah, we dug down.
It looks like it's all
One floor?
Yeah, we got basically 12-foot shredded tread on the inside, instead of outside. All the cracks kind of line up where the expansion were made, all of it, on the inside and the outside.
Must have Max Jantz do it, modified his book. All right, let's move to handbooks.
All right, just have a few more handbooks for approval. You have them in your packets. Basically, it boils down to dates being adjusted, moving from Skyward to Power School. In the high school one, it talks about the eligibility policy changing, where what it says is I'll find it here for you. After 4 consecutive weeks of the failing grades, students are not eligible for activities until they raise that grade above an F. And that also shows up in the activities handbook. In the classified handbook, we've added in, unbelievable we have to have this, but if there are so many no-call, no-shows, and KSB has said that's fine, you can do this. 3 in a row, 5 in a semester, 7 in a school year, that constitutes a resignation. Who would ever thought you'd have to have that? But okay. We've changed, just for flexibility within the classified handbook, instead of saying 2 snow days, we're allowing people to take them by hours, so 16 hours. Instead of just having 2 days, they have to take them as a full day. If somebody wants to break them up by 4 hours, all right, we can be flexible that way. And we're raising finally the meal reimbursement rate from $10 to $15. So that's nice for our people who drive our buses and whatnot. So also one other item within the activities handbook, criminal activity. We're adding language that a student up on charges may not take part in any team activities, which means practice is what that means, because it was vague what we used to have in the activities handbook. So, questions about the various handbook updates? If not, I recommend the board approve the updated handbooks as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Sean. Been moved and seconded to approve the updated handbooks as presented. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, fees.
This is just an annual action. I'm not looking to adjust or make any adjustments up at all for the fees. We split the herd on this year, well, last year and this year, because we needed to get the educational materials fees approved in front of enrollment. That's why we brought that to you last month. Now we've got all the other ones here, athletic fees, sports admission fees, driver's ed, library fee.
Library fee for? I mean, what's?
It's been in place for a long time. I'm sure it's for book tape. I'm sure it's for book tape and for repairs and that kind of thing. Because we still have books, and you have to, what's it called, the outside of a book, they break, and so we have to bind them. So we basically have to rebind them. So
every kid pays that, or just if you want to go to the library?
Every kid pays it. Every kid pays it. So anyway, that's what these fees are. The meal prices will be set later on when we know what the prices are set by KSD.
I got a kid in driver's ed this year, can we decrease that this year?
Just for the 1 year. Once again, called the Schreivogel proviso.
The athletic fee is 50 per kid per sport, or 160
Family
per
cap.
family, so that's 160 for the year, or 160
Yeah,
per sport?
for the year.
Or per season, okay.
Wish it was that cheap at Bethany. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
I recommend board approve the fees as presented.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis, been moved and seconded to approve the fees as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business, 25-26 school calendar.
Oh, hold on, we have overnight trips.
No. Oh, that's added. Okay, let's move to overnight trips.
This came into play a couple years back, where the board needs to approve all overnight trips to take student organizations. So we have an ongoing Google Doc of some sort. We only have 4 at this point. Other trips requests will be added throughout the year as they surface. You probably have in there a document with tabs. So the latest one has girls swim, boys basketball, and cross country. See how I take my glasses off to read that?
Mm-hmm. See, I can't do that.
So I recommend the board approve, board approval of the requested overnight trips as presented.
So moved.
Third.
Casey and Ryan, been moved and seconded to approve the requested overnight trips as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 25-26 school calendar adjustment.
Basically, when we approved the school calendar for next year, we did not know, we just kind of guessed when the big track meet would be. And so we need to make an adjustment because now we know when it is. We need to make April 17 a regular school day and make April 24 a no school / PD day, because that's when the track meet will be. So if we could just recommend the board approve of the presented adjustment for the 25-26 school calendar, and Robin will make sure we get the adjustment made and put into the calendar online and everything's official.
Yeah, they might be running on grass.
Back to cinder track.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Casey. It's been moved and seconded to approve the presented adjustments to the 25-26 calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let me make sure. Summer food service program.
All righty, this is, Monica was talking about earlier, now this is the official action for you. All the times, dates, and locations she mentioned, annual approval, we've been doing this for the past 9 summers, so this is going in number 10, I guess. Actually served quite a few students each summer, it's a great program. I recommend the board continue the summer meal program as presented.
So moved.
Casey and Sean. Been moved and seconded to continue the summer meal program as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Go to executive session.
I changed it to 25 minutes.
25?
25 with principals as needed and Garrett.
Okay. All right, so why don't we go in at 7:55 for 25 minutes with Dr. Myers, principals, and Garrett as needed.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 25 minutes at All right, we are back in session. I need a motion to hire Justin Reich as the Assistant High School Principal Athletic Director.
So moved.
Second.
Curtis and Ryan. Moved and seconded to hire Justin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to hire Alex Hall as a 3-year-old preschool teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to hire Alex. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to hire Melinda Gershberger as high school science position.
So moved.
Second.
Sean and Ryan. Been moved and seconded to hire Melinda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I need a motion to hire Christine Sabarin as a part-time custodian.
Moved. Second.
Sean and Curtis. Moved and seconded to hire Christine. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to hire Maria Salazar Garcia as a part-time custodian.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to hire Maria. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to hire Rebecca Kenyon as a part-time food service employee.
So moved.
Ryan and Sean. Been moved and seconded to hire Rebecca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, need a motion to hire Araceli Dela Cruz Lena as a full-time food service employee.
Moved.
Sean
Second.
and Ryan. Moved and seconded to hire Araceli. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, need a motion to hire Kip Nichols as a middle school teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to hire Kip. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I need a motion to hire the supplementals as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to hire the supplementals as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That is all,
All
Mr.
right, I
James.
need a motion to adjourn so Curtis can go home.
So moved.
Sean and Curtis. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?